These members of the Constituent Assembly had a huge task before them. The country was made up of several different communities who spoke different language, belonged to the different religions and had distinct culture. Also when the constitution was being written, India was going through considerable turmoil. The partition of the country into India and Pakistan was imminent. Some of the princely states remained undecided about their future, and the socio-economic condition of the vast mass of people appeared dismal. All of these issues played on the minds of the members of the Constituent Assembly as they drafted the constitution. They rose to the occasion and gave this country a visionary document that reflects a respect for maintaining diversity while preserving national unity. The final document also reflects their concern for eradicating poverty through socio-economic reforms as well as emphasizing the crucial role the people can play in choosing their representatives. Listed below are the key features of Indian constitution. While reading these, keep in mind the above mentioned concern of diversity, unity, socio-economic reform and representation that the authors of this document were grappling with. Try and understand the ways in which they try to balance these concerns with their transforming independent India into a strong democratic society. Federalism. This refers to the existence of more than one level of government in the country. In India, we have government at the state level and at the center. Panchayati Raj is third tier of government, and you will have read about this in your class 6 book. We looked at the functioning of the state government in your class 7 book, and this year we will read more about the central government. The vast number of communities in India mean that a system of government need to be devised that did not involve any person sitting in the capital city of New Delhi and making decision for everyone. Instead, it was important to have another level of government in the state so that decision could be made for the particular area. While each state in India enjoy autonomy in exercising powers and certain issues subject of national concern requires that all of these states follow the laws of the central government. The constituent contains list that details the issues that each tier of government can make laws on. The in addition, the constitution also specific where each tier of government can get the money from for the work that is under federalism. The state are not merely agents of the federal government but draw their authority from the constitution. As well as all persons in India are governed by laws and policies made by each of these levels of the government. When the Constituent Assembly adopted the principle of universal adult franchises, Sri A.K. Iyer, a member, remarked that this was done within an abundant faith in the common man and the ultimate success of democratic rule, and in the full belief that the introduction of democratic government on the basis of adult suffrage will bring enlightenment and promote the well-being, the standard of life, the comfort and the decent living of the common man. The photo below shows people standing in line to cast their vote. Look at the picture. Parliamentary form of government. The different tiers of government that you just read about consist of representatives who are elected by the people. Your class 7 book began with the story of Kanta, who was standing in the line to vote during an election. The Constitution of India guaranteed universal adult suffrage for all citizens. When they were making the constitution, the member of the Constituent Assembly felt that the freedom struggle had prepared the masses for universal adult suffrage and that this would help encourage the democratic mindset and break the clutches of traditional caste, class, and gender hierarchies. This means that the people of India have a direct role in electing their representatives. Also, every citizen of the country, irrespective of his or social background, can also contest in elections. These representatives are uncountable of the people. You will read more about why representation is crucial to democratic functioning in Unit 2 of this book. Separation power. According to the Constitution, there are three organs of government. These are legislature and executive and the judiciary. The legislature refers to our elected representatives. The executive is a smaller group of people who are responsible for the implementing laws and running the government. The judiciary, of which you will read more in Unit 3 of this book, refers to the system of occurs in this country. In order to prevent the misuse of power by any one branch of government, the Constitution says that each of these organs should be exercise different powers. Through this, each organ act as a check on the other organs of government, and this ensure the balance of power between all three. Member of Constituent Assembly, he feared that the executive might become hundred too strong and ignore its responsibility to legislation. The Assembly therefore include a number of provisions in the Constitution to limit and control the action taken by the executive branch of government as a whole. Look at the box. The word state is often used in this chapter. This does not refer to a state government. Rather, when we use state, we are trying to distinguish it from government. Government is responsible for administering and enforcing laws. The government can change with elections. The state, on the other hand, refers to a political institution that represent a sovereign people who occupy a definite territory. We can thus speak of the Indian state, the Nepali states, etc. The Indian states has a democratic form of government. The government or the executive is one of the part of a state. The state refers to more than just the government and cannot be used interchangeably with it. Fundamental right. The selection of fundamental right has often been referred to a coincidence conscience of the Indian Constitution. Colonial rule and created a certain suspicions of the state in minds of the nationalists, and they wanted to ensure that a set of written rights would guard against the misuse of state power in independent India. Fundamental rights therefore protect its citizens against the arbitrary and absolute exercise of power by the state. The Constitution thus guarantees the right of the individuals against the state as well as against other individuals. Moreover, the various minority communities also expressed the need for the Constitution to include rights that would protect their groups. The Constitution refers, therefore, also guarantees the right of the minorities against the majority. As Dr. Ambedkar has said that about these fundamental rights, their object is to twofold. The first objective is that every citizen must be in position to claim those rights, and secondly, these rights must be building open every authority that has got the power to make laws. In addition to fundamental rights, the Constitution also has a section called Directive Principle of State Policy. This region designed by the member of the Constituent Assembly to ensure greater social and economic reforms and to serve as a guide to the independent Indian state to institute laws and policies that help reduce the poverty of the masses. Look at the picture. The fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution: right to equality, okay, right to freedom, right against exploitations, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. Secularism. A secular state is one of which the state does not officially promote any one religion as the state religion. We will read more about this in the following chapter. You now understand the ways in which country's history often determines the kind of constitution that a country adopts for itself. The constitution plays a crucial role in laying out the ideals that we would like all citizens of the country to adore, to including the representatives that we elect to rule us. Just like in the game of football, a change of constitutive rules will affect the game. Indian constitution has been amended over the years to reflect new concerns of the polity. Often, a major change in the constitution means the change in the fundamental nature of the country. We saw this in the case of Nepal and how it needed to adopt a new constitution after it became a democracy. The different features of the Indian constitution outlined above involve complicated ideas that are often not easy to grasp. Don't worry too much about this for the moment. In the rest of the book, as well as in your higher class, you will read more about these different features of the Indian Constitution and understand more substantively what they mean. Illustrate each of the 11 fundamental duties. Find out duties with drawings, pictures, poems, or songs and discuss them in the classroom. Look at the picture. The above photo shows the various members of the Constituent Assembly singing a copy of the Constitution as its final session on 24 January 1950. The first photo from tops shows Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru signing. The second photo is Dr. Rajendra Prasad, President of Constituent Assembly. The last photo shows the following person from right to left: Shri J. Ramdas Daulat Ram, Minister for Food and Agriculture; Rajkumari Amrit Kaur, Health Minister; Dr. John Mathai, Finance Minister; Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Deputy Prime Minister; and behind him, Sri Jagjeevan Ram, Labour Minister. Exercise. Why does a democratic country need a constitution? Look at the wordings of the two documents given below. The first column is the 1990 Nepal constitution. The second column is from more recent constitution of Nepal. Look at this. Key features: federalism, separation of power, fundamental rights, parliamentary form of government. Look at the map. This is India political. Okay. Arbitrary, idle, Indian national movement, polity, sovereign, human trafficking, tyranny. In which we can read a word: sovereign. What is sovereign? In the context of this chapter, it refers to an independent people. Polity. What is polity? A society that has an organized political structure. India is a democratic polity. Okay, thank you.